What's up, citizens of Gotham? You're making Gotham great again is what you're doing. You're shaving your knuckles for justice, and you're watching the political vigilante. Great way to support the show, boom, 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 is to go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. One of the things you get to do is you get to submit a topic or an article or just ask me some questions to discuss, which is what Alexandria Marin sent in. So if you go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood, you get to contribute to what we talk about on this show. 3 fantastic questions. What does a true progressive look like? You got one right here, baby. Vegan guns. Did yoga this morning. Look at that. Next question. No, we'll get into that. So to me, what the definition of a progressive is first, in general terms, it's just wanting the world to be a better place, wanting people to have, save the planet, no war, equality for everybody, economic equality, social equality, let people worship however they want to worship, whatever they want to do. Specific to the policy of that, well, we got to save the planet. We got to address climate change. That's what being a progressive is. For me, it's a Green New Deal. It's a real Green New Deal, not a watered down Pelosi corporate ExxonMobil one, but a real one. And it's economic equality. It's getting corporate money out of politics. It is an actual representative democracy. It's Medicare for all. It's $15 an hour minimum wage, minimum, and bigger in the bigger, more in like $20, $25 an hour in major cities like New York and LA and San Francisco. It's free college tuition. It's ending all these ridiculous wars. That to me is what a progressive is. How do we make the world a better place for everybody? No more poverty. Really, I'm anti-war. I've been to war. I don't know what it's like to be in the military. I'm not claiming that, but I've seen it. I've done comedy tours in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Kuwait, and I've seen what war looks like, and it's awful. I've met a lot of vets. Many of you watch this show, and you've come up to me on the road, and I appreciate that, and you've shared your stories with me. I've met wounded vets. I've met vets with prosthetic limbs. I know people who have lost people over there. That's what I want. That's what, for me, it is as a progressive. I want to end war. It's awful. And war for profit and 22 vets a day committing suicide. So what? ExxonMobil and Boeing and Raytheon can increase their profits? That sickens me. That to me was real progressive. Now the term progressive is being watered down and it's been co-opted. Now everyone's calling themselves a progressive, right? Bobby Frankie O'Rourke is calling himself one. No Policy Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, they're all calling themselves progressive because this term, we all grabbed a hold of it in 2016 and now they want to get a piece of that. They want to get a piece of the progressive voter. So to me, it's like no regime change, no interventionism anywhere. Getting off of Middle Eastern oil, ending our horrible relationship with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that also we just let them do whatever they want. It's no more going to places and taking their resources or this ridiculous thing that we're trying to do in Venezuela. I'm not saying Maduro's like an angel, but it's not our right to do that. That's what it is for progressive for me, those things. Should there be a draft? Yes. And here's what I think the draft should be as part of the Green New Deal. Everybody, when they turn 18, has to do 2 years of service. And that service it is, under a Green New Deal, this is if I was president, we would be, instead of bombing the Middle East, we would be, first of all, building our infrastructure here with green energy and green technology. And you would have to do 2 years of service in the AmeriCorps, in Habitat for Humanity, and also in this newly designed military that is actually going out and helping rather than bombing everybody. So it'd be 2 years of service, because we would instill that, because the government, if we had a real progressive president that was like, we're going to do these things, we're going to make the world a better place, we're not going to bomb the Middle East, we're actually going to help stabilize the Middle East, because we need, as the world needs to be done with oil. So that's been the big part of their economy in these oil-rich countries. So if we just stop oil, then what are they going to do? So we would also help them. So our military would be more being of service rather than just ridiculous regime change wars. So yeah, I would have a draft. 2 years of service. If you're like, I don't want anything to do with the military, great. You get to be in the Peace Corps for 2 years. And our chief export would be helping people. Philanthropic export. That's what we would be doing. So yes, I think 2 years of service, not just joining, not under the current war machine, $700+ billion a year on war. No, not a draft for that. No, absolutely not. But everyone has to participate in helping. But that comes from bold leadership from the top down. That's why I would do it. Instead of building oil pipelines and fracking, we would build pipelines for water to redistribute water. So in areas of the country that are flooding, we would send water to the places that are in drought. We would be spending money on research and development with the best possible technology for green energy. Whatever, because I know a lot of people out there like, well, even if we did this massive building and we pulled out all these resources to make, solar panels they're not very environmentally friendly, the resources to build. Okay, so we'd put research into finding sustainable materials to make that. And we would need a lot of people to be put to work to doing that. Part of it would be a draft. And how great would our society look if we had a whole generation of people who all served for 2 years in the Peace Corps? If you want to join the military, great. But again, our military would be less about, stealing people's resources and more about helping people and keeping areas stable, because there's going to be massive destabilizations of governments due to climate change. It's something the Pentagon actually has been researching and studying for the better part of 10 to 15 years. The Pentagon is aware that climate change is going to create climate refugees, which is going to destabilize governments, and this is going to pose a security risk. So if you have, 1 million refugees because they're a hurricane or a flood or, whatever wiped that area out, you're going to need security, keep people safe. That's how I would use the military. So we would need a draft. I know it sounds a little crazy. Final question, why is there no robust anti-war movement? Because the 4 decades long corporate coup has done a fantastic job of nullifying it, of making us numb to war. We've been at war in Afghanistan for 18 going on 19 years. October will be 18 years. Yeah, we started October of 2001, so this will be October 2019. So 17 going on 18 years. The global war on terror. So we're just numb to it. And with all of the, the deficit spending and bailing out the banks and everything else, we didn't even have to do what, FDR did in World War II of like, a can drive and everyone pulled together for the resources and all that stuff. So we don't even know. Just war. So really there's like Medea Benjamin and Code Pink. And we need to get back involved. All of us progressives, everybody watching this show, join some type of anti-war movement. Talking about climate change and anti-war should be like 1 and 2 with just about any issue that we discuss. So that's what they've done. They've co-opted it. So the hippies of the 60s, the first wave of them, they were radicals. Okay? And they were striking, they were revolutionaries, they were anti-war, they were pro-workers' rights, they were pro-civil rights, they were all those things. And then it got co-opted, like we talked about the word progressive getting co-opted. So then they did a very concerted effort. The CIA came up, and put LSD out there, and then the hippies all became about, love and sex and getting high and tune in, check out, or whatever that slogan was. Because they didn't want everybody, joining a revolution, so they got everybody high. And they've been doing versions of that ever since. Now they use the technology. Now they want the youth playing video games. They want you on Snapchat. They want you on Tinder. They want you just doing this and not paying attention to what's going on. Another thing, too, about the draft is I would say it'd be a draft for humanitarian reasons. And I'd be very clear on, I don't want us to go to war. So then the anti-war movement, that's another reason. They got rid of the draft. The draft is one of the things that had helped create an anti-war movement, because all these 18, 19-year-old, these kids were like, I don't want to go to Vietnam. What? Can you imagine that now if you were 18 to 20, 25 years old and it was like, you're probably going to get shipped out to Syria or Iraq or maybe Venezuela, or if we invade Iran, you're going. Can you imagine that? Did you notice at the peak of the Iraq war when we had 160 or 170,000 troops over there and another 40-some thousand in Afghanistan? You notice there was no draft then? Did you notice when enlistment went down in 2007, military enlistment was like at its lowest because nobody wanted to go fight in Iraq? Oh, weird. Then a recession hit. Do you think that was a coincidence? A draft keeps the populace involved. I'll go in for 2 years if I'm just going to, learn a trade and help, flood victims get supplies. I'll do that if I join the military. But you want me to go fight in some crazy corporate oil war? No, I ain't joining. So they got rid of the draft. That's why there was no anti-war movement. The first Gulf War in 91, complete media blackout. Never saw any of the atrocities that came out of there. And now, when we did Afghanistan and Iraq after 9/11, embedded reporter, that new thing, embedded reporter. So they were part of the military and they talk about how the military, boom, boom, pow. So they weren't showing any war crimes. So the war just looks like everything we're doing is great and the terrorists are bad and all Muslims are crazy and evil. Why do we need an anti-war movement when war is great? Because we need to do it because of 9/11. See how they did it? You see how they did it? That's why we need to bring an anti-war movement back. And 2 years of service. You don't want to join the military? You got to participate in making America better again. Not great again. I don't want to say that term. So I hope that explains it, Alexandra. Marin, I think you're on the Super Chats a lot. Maybe you just like going by Alex. Thank you for supporting the show. And, you know, there's a lot of, going to patreon.com/Graham Elwood is a great way to support the show. And also rockfin.com/Graham Elwood for $10 a month. You get all the ads. Excuse me, I always screw that up. You always get all the videos ad-free, and you get all the content creator stuff. And if you subscribe through rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, then I get residual income, like I get a taste of that. And I understand there's also, you can go to the P.O. Box, which is on my website. Some of you prefer that. And you can buy merchandise at GrahamElwood.com. Every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific, we do a live chat, and you can ask me questions and donate money through there, which I appreciate. And if money's tight, I get it. Like, subscribe to these videos. The more subscribers I get, the better. The more positive comments, the more views, the more YouTube pushes the videos out. Positive comments help. Following me on social media, retweeting me when I post my videos and stuff like that, all of that helps. So I appreciate all of the ways that you guys are helping, because you're all making Gotham great again.